Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
And former UFC lightweight champion Rafael dos Anjos is promising revenge for Brazil on Colby Covington, who said some controversial remarks not just against Brazil, although they have been one of the, I don't want to say victims, but one of the targets of Colby Covington's trash talk. I mean, he's winning at the Star. I mean, we go over this list all the time. He's winning at the Star Wars fans. He's winning at his former roommates. He's winning at his former teammates. He's winning at, I mean, anybody Colby Covington can piss off, he tries to piss off. So ahead of his fight with Damian Maia, he called Brazil a dump. He said the people are filthy animals. Now, when he said it, you know, he said it was because in reaction to like the people throwing stuff at his coaches, and he didn't necessarily say every single Brazilian is a filthy animal. When he said you people are a dump, he said he was kind of referencing the people that were dirty to him. Either way, I think Colby Covington knew what he was doing, and the Brazilians took it as he was dissing everybody. Now, the Brazilians feel like he's disrespected their entire country, and there's been talks of allegedly there even being a bounty on Colby Covington's head, because all of that Brazilian disrespect was Colby Covington's last fight, and it was in Brazil. Now he's coming back to Brazil to fight Rafael dos Anjos, another Brazilian who is actually a former champion. But with that being said, this is going to be a good fight. One thing I do want to touch on is I was just listening to Dana White talking to Fox Sports, and Daniel Cormier asked him about this fight. Dana White said, did I announce that fight yet? Which he hadn't, but MMA Fighting as well as multiple other sources have confirmed the fight, very reliable sources. Even Rafael dos Anjos is talking about silencing or getting revenge for Brazil, you know what I'm saying, and silencing Colby Covington. Speaking to reporter Helen Yee, this is what Rafael dos Anjos had to say, especially against this kind of guy. He's been talking bad about the Brazilians, talking a lot of crap. Just go there and shut his mouth. He wants to shut his mouth and get revenge for Brazil. Well, all that aside, the fight is pretty much confirmed, even though Dana White kind of said it wasn't. Dana White, bro, is like one of the biggest spreaders of fake news. I know this is not a news flash to a lot of you, but like, I'm still sitting here as somebody fucking balls deep keeping up with the sport. I don't know if Tony Ferguson is going to be stripped or not, because Dana White has literally said Tony Ferguson's not getting stripped, but in the same breath says the interim title is going away. So what is going away if he's not getting stripped? Now, I think Tony Ferguson probably should be stripped, not because he deserves to be stripped, but because his last fight was in October, I believe, of last year, which is about 6 months ago. So he just had a really bad injury, so maybe not, depending on how long it's going to take him to heal up from this injury. But if he's going to be out for another 6 months, that'll be a year of inactivity for an interim champion. So if you've got an undisputed champion in Max Holloway or Khabib, you can't really tie up your undisputed champion for an interim champion that kind of got injured, even though it was a freak accident. So I don't know if he's getting stripped or not, but I do know this fight's going to be happening in Brazil, because not only has RDA talked about it, Colby Covington has came out and said the UFC had to buy him an extra plane ticket just for his big nuts. Colby Covington is for sure letting his nuts hang by going back to Brazil after knowing he's a marked man. You got to have some cojones to do that. Now, I'm sure he's going to have presidential protection. He'll probably be more protected than Dana White going into this event, because they know he's a marked man. The crowd, they're going to have super security at the crowd. Colby Covington's going to have to stay at the highest upscale hotels and eat at those restaurants where there's nobody that would even think about harming him, because he's a marked man, as we all know. With that being said, Colby Covington has already started. I can only imagine the build up, the press conference, and all of that leading up to this fight. That's what Colby Covington brings, very entertaining trash talk, and even though you might hate it and hate him, it's fun to watch, and it makes you want to see RDA beat him up that much more. But the problem is, this is kind of a good matchup for Colby Covington, as he's a legitimate welterweight wrestling powerhouse, and Rafael dos Anjos is coming up from lightweight, former champion, even though he's on a 3-fight winning streak at welterweight with wins most recently even over Robbie Lawler. So this is going to be a good fight. It's going to happen regardless of what Dana White, I just heard him say. He hasn't announced that the UFC doesn't have it up on their official website website, but it's happening. Rafael dos Anjos versus Colby Covington for the interim welterweight title. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking D-O-double-G.